Hello and welcome to Darling Street Oval this afternoon for this big round 16 matchup between Hamilton Olympic and the Jets Youth. Hamilton, they're currently sitting first on the ladder on 35 points, 10 wins and 5 draws. They haven't had a loss this season. And the Jets Youth, they've returned to form in recent weeks. They're 6th on 18 points, 5 wins, 3 draws and 7 losses. But they have lost just 3 of their last 10 matches. They're in great form. Their only hiccup was that 10-2 loss to Broadmeadow a couple of weekends ago. Joining me in commentary, as always, Chris Turner and Damien Smith. And Chris, big game this arvo at Darling Street.
Yeah, sure is. This is look, we say it every week, but it's a must-win game for Hamilton because they need to simply have the points to win the premiership today. And, you know, like we've had in recent weeks, we've been here a few times now. The weather's great, it's overcast, pitch is in good condition, and I'm looking forward to a really sharp game of football with a Jets team that have got some new players in it. Damien?
Yeah, agree with you, Chris. I think it's going to be a very important game, especially for Olympic today. They played very well last week against Broadmeadow Magic and probably unlucky not to get the 3 points. However, they need to win today to maintain top of the table clash. There's been 2 changes from last week. Daniel Bird and Grant Brown are suspended, and Simon Mooney and Andrew Swan have come in for the Olympic squad.
Yeah, so the 2 big losses there for Olympic in Grant Brown and Daniel Bird, as the side's coming out onto the ground this afternoon. As we said, we've got a few matches also going on this afternoon. Lambton taking on Adamstown in a big match over at Adamstown Oval. Western up against Maitland. And Edgeworth taking on Charlestown. So some interesting matches to watch there, especially Edgeworth as well in that minor premiership race. That match against Charlestown. Charlestown will give them a good test this afternoon. After coming back, they'll be fatigued after Tuesday night, and what an outstanding result that was for Northern New South Wales and for Edgeworth. I should say Wednesday night it was.
Yeah, sure was. And that result there is something that's really special for this region of football. I think what they've done at Edgeworth is fantastic, and it just goes to show that, you know, on the national level where we kind of sit, you know, so you often wonder how you'd go against the Victorian sides and the Sydney sides in full flight mid-season, and you expect that those sides will potentially, you know, they're a bit stronger, but good result up there for them. But you're right, they're coming off after a midweek game, and I think, you know, certainly Charlestown give them a good run, Damien.
Yeah, agree, Chris, but I think they still have the adrenaline of winning on Wednesday night. I know they celebrated pretty hard into the night on Wednesday night, but I think the adrenaline of winning that game and getting into the top 16 of the FFA Cup might pull them through today. So, but also the opportunity to go to top of the table.
So we're almost ready for kickoff this afternoon. It'll be Hamilton in their home kit, predominantly blue home kit, and it'll be the Jets running from left to right in the first half in their white away kit.
It's good to see you could make it back here, Bart. Straight from Melbourne. He's come in off a flight, directly from the flight. Apparently they've got tail southerly winds coming in, and made the flight an extra 15 minutes early.
We're underway. Yes, it was lucky to get here, Chris, actually. The flight was nice and quick, so it was good to get down here. Caught some Victorian NPL action yesterday.
Well, we're glad you're here because Smudge and I were in a panic. It was what was going to happen.
Would have been nice to hear you guys call the first part of the match. As here, the Jets with an early throw. Just those earlier scores before we get into this one. The Jets with a 2-1 win in the 22s, and then the 19s it was a 2-2 draw. As Chrisitan Raimora plays it back across the far side for Enza, and then back to Degadoy.
I remember last time this game was on, I think Olympic had about 5 chances in the first 20 minutes. We're up 5-0, so it'd be interesting to see how the game starts today.
It was a 5-0 drubbing that Olympic gave the Jets last time on a Saturday afternoon. The 20th of May it was. And Damien, you and I were at that game, and the Jets played really well that afternoon. They were unlucky not to at least grab a goal.
Oh, I agree, and I think from memory there was probably 3 individual defensive errors which allowed Olympic to score goals. But also, I think on that day, Kane Goodchild, he was immense, and he sort of just bustled his way through the young Jets defence. So, but yeah, Jets played quite well that day.
Here's Swan going up the ground looking for Goodchild, who gets around Matt Richardson, and the free kick given away by the Jets. Matt Richardson, he's coming to the Jet side the last in the last month since that match against Shandong Luneng has been very impressive. As Cameron Joyce looks across to the far side for Tom Waller, and it'll run over the sideline.
Got the opportunity to speak with Coach Michael Bolch this morning, and he was talking about the suspensions of Bird and Brown, and with those two guys being out of the game today, that brings Swan and Simon Mooney in. Yeah, go on.
Reece Cooper down the far side, but over the sideline.
I guess the first reaction is what a great pair to bring in. If you've got two substitutions to bring in, fantastic players in their own right, and would certainly, in my opinion, walk into any side. So have those two come straight off the bench. So I don't think it's going to do much to them, either way today.
Leo Bertos goes to Bailey, and now back to Cody Lucas, and Kyle Hodges now in the centre circle. Andrew Swan now to Mooney. Yeah, Simon Mooney's been a bit out of favour of recent weeks. He hasn't started too many matches, and he's been starting off the bench, so we'll see how he performs this afternoon.
Yeah, so Bolch and I had that conversation, and what that's all about is if you've lost your spot and the team's winning, it's hard to put them back in because who are you going to leave out and what are you going to say to them? So, it's simple as this. They've been winning, they've been playing well, and, they can't be dropped. So these guys just have to wait for an opportunity. And today, in Michael Bolch's words, this is their opportunity. So if they win today and do well, what do? You're virtually forced to leave them in. So interesting to see how they go, and, I expect nothing but a good performance from both of them.
Here's Mooney off down this near side of the ground. He's got Goodchild and Reece Cooper getting in there. He tries to take on Holtzheimer and gave him a bit of a tug and gave away the free kick.
Yeah, what I liked about that move, Mooney anticipated Spencer's ball, first-time ball straight over the top. So, and like Mooney came on for Bird last week and did a good job when he came on against Magic. So, it's like for like the changes, and I don't think it's going to affect Olympic too much.
There's Powiak, goes back to Richardson. And the major difference in the Jets, I mentioned before the game, 3 losses in their last 10 matches. The major difference that Clayton Zane has said, that what he's put that down to is the competition for places at the back in defence. They started the season with 3 defenders. Now they've got 4 and 5, and they've got that competition for places at the back.
Yeah, I mean, any side that's going to be a top 4 side has got to have a rock solid defence. If your defence is well-rounded, I should say, and also it's balanced in terms of understanding they know each other and they're able to play out as well. They have that ability. Then it's going to be, if you're not letting goals in, then it's a big battle, out of the way, because all you got to do really is worry about putting them in the other end.
A win for the Jets this afternoon could take them up to 5th, depending on what happens at Charlestown this afternoon between the Blues and Edgeworth. As Leo Bertos goes across that far side towards Swan. And Goodchild sits back up for Bertos. It sends Reece Cooper away. Who's just offside.
Yeah, CT, agree with you there, but also it's good to have a consistent back line, so it's not chopping and changing all the time. So normally a solid and consistent back line wins competitions.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Smudge. And if you're in a team that is a weak defence, which I guess lots of people have been in 1 or 2 of those in their time, it makes it a lot more difficult if you're conceding goals, and it's disheartening a lot of the time as well.
Runs down towards Holtzheimer. Black's got a good piece of that up the ground. Brian Mora couldn't control, and now Thurgate putting some pressure on Jacob Bailey. Bailey goes to Bertos. Mooney now. They've run away from him. He looked towards Kane Goodchild, and that's a nice take from Pierce Clark. Easy as you like at the back post. Remains 0-0 after just over 5.5 minutes at Darling Street in the match of the round this afternoon on Bar TV.
Clayton Zane's talking about Holtzheimer coming in and getting on Simon Mooney's touch, and what's happening at the moment, he's probably about 3-4 metres too far away from him, so he's not able to let that happen, which is giving Simon a comfortable pickup. So he's on at the moment, and I'd expect Clayton Zane will fix that up shortly.
Here's Mooney, just turning on the ball, going back to Bertos. Outstanding, he's been in the midfield the last few weeks. Here's Goodchild. Cooper in the middle, takes on Richardson. Goodchild, he keeps it in. Lovely play here from Kane Goodchild. No one coming to assist him, coming into the box there. And Goodchild runs back. Just that strength of Goodchild holding off Degadoy there. It's outstanding. And now
and his feet, quick feet, very quick feet, well balanced for a big fella.
The other thing about that run is his timing was absolutely perfect, like it was step perfect.
Bailey almost finding Spencer there. He would have been through. As here's the ball over the top for Cameron Joyce. And Cameron Joyce, he's got too much speed for Swan. As he's touch a bit heavy, he plays it across the base. Tom Waller can't run it down. And gee, what a chance for the Jets there. Cameron Joyce, his touch was just a little bit heavy.
That's a massive chance for the Jets. They'll be looking at that one later and wondering why that didn't go in the back of the net. Great work from Ireland. Came out, made himself nice and big. Came out, put him off on the angle, and that's probably the main reason.
Here is Tom Waller. Just missed that chance. The back post probably a little bit heavy. But Andrew Swan, he's going to have to be on his toes this afternoon with Cameron Joyce on his wing this afternoon. He's got plenty of pace, Cameron Joyce.
Yeah, we just saw that then, and you can't be getting too close. I mean, at the opposite end of what Clayton Zane's talking about on the touch, maybe with Swan, he wants to just stay off him, Damien, a couple of metres to give him that start, so that he doesn't have to be turning and chasing him down, and that's probably key for Swan at the moment. And that'll be going through his mind just after that last scoring opportunity from the Jets. As I said before, the last thing they want to do is drop points today.
Here's Waller towards the back post. Ireland, look at those long arms outstretched. He takes that one pretty easily in the end.
Yeah, just on the Jets, they're playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. They're knocking the ball around well, good movement off the ball. And I think that also comes down to some of the players who are, training with first grade at the moment. He's in Joyce, Carroll, Waller, and Brymora. So obviously they've got confidence training with the first team, and yeah, they're looking pretty sharp at the moment.
Here's a ball across.
Very impressed with your notes, Smudge.
He's done plenty of research this afternoon. Here's Cody Carroll, Powiak. And he gets across to Holtzheimer. It takes off down this near side of the ground. Pushing forward, his pass just let him down. Straight to Swan. And handball going against the Jets. They take it quickly, Hamilton. And Bailey now finds Tommy Spencer. He's been outstanding this year for Hamilton. And Goodchild just a little bit offside. He didn't agree with it, but
Goodchild didn't agree with it, but look, it's pretty close. I mean, maybe linesman was in good position to see it.
Here's Tom Waller getting a little push in the back from Matt Swan and giving the free kick away.
Just here the deep two of Carroll and Powiak just getting on the ball a bit too much. I think Jacob Bailey or Leo Burtis just needs to push on and put a bit more pressure on him in the midfield.
Here's Degadoy on the ball. One thing Clayton Zane has said is how important it is for his side to keep in the game that opening 20 minutes. He says that's where, against Broadmeadow and some other matches this season where they've just let the match slip, Broadmeadow, they were down 4-0 inside 17 minutes. So they can stay in this in the opening 20. They could give Hamilton a real test this afternoon. Here's Goodchild. Off down the far side, just a little heavy, and it'll just be over for the goal kick.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement, because what that's all about is confidence with these guys. As a young footballer, and you're surrounded by young footballers, it's not like you're in a first grade team as a 17-year-old. Your team's full of 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds for that matter, maybe the odd 15-year-old. So, if you give that first 15, 20 minutes away, this whole confidence thing is going to take hold of you, and especially when you're playing against men that are physically bigger and stronger. So, if they put their foot down and they're on top the Hamilton side, then they're going to be hard to stop during the game.
And credit to this Jets side, the position they are on the ladder. The side in Melbourne in the Victorian NPL, the Melbourne Victory Youth, they are dead last in that competition. And that's got nothing to do with the quality of the competition. That's down to, I think, the quality of the players. And this Jets youth side shows you that they almost took down Edgeworth a few weeks ago, and how well Edgeworth played the other night. Here's Spencer with the shot, straight to Pierce Clark.
Well, we can see in the opening 10 or 11 minutes how skilled they are and how they move the ball around. They hold it well. As he turns it over.
Here's Bailey, finds Reece Cooper, who cuts into the box across the face. Pierce Clark, he's been very good across the opening 11 and a bit minutes this afternoon. He looked very, very calm under the ball. There's now Brymora. Now down the left, he finds Joyce at the back post, who turns around and goes back for it, and he plays it all the way back to Holtzheimer. Powiak. Joyce and back to Holzheimer. Just keeping things nice and composed at the moment, the Jets. That ball across, winning them a throw for Ryan Enser on that far side.
That's a very tough ball over across the park into the congested area, Damien. I think with a ball like that, maybe that's what Clacker was just talking about then, just to play it into his holding midfield over the 6.
Yeah, I think Clayton was hoping his 8 would move out the road for the second 6 to come in, so then they can have a switch of play. So didn't work, but at least they're trying something.
Island goes long, but straight to Enza. Now Cody Carroll steps past Jacob Bayliss if he wasn't there, and now goes across to Joyce. Joyce in towards Brimora. Tom Waller arriving at the back post, trying to cut it back, and it's over for a corner kick. But gee, that looked good from the Jets.
Yeah, sure did. I mean, Hamilton here are under a fair bit of pressure. They are playing today. Every game now, they have to win every game. They're not expecting Edgeworth are going to drop any points, so they have to win every game. If Edgeworth do drop points as a bonus, and then they're there. But to put themselves in contention, they've just got to take the points every week. And at this stage, they're looking a little bit under pressure.
Here's the ball in towards the near post. It's Swan with the header, and it's going to be another corner.
Yeah,
What do you say to your players in this situation?
Yeah, I think they're just a bit stale at the moment. They're not putting pressure on the ball, and the Jets midfield are having a lot of time on the ball. They're able to switch play with ease. They're going through their number 6 and their number 8 with ease. So I think the centre 3 for Olympic just need to put a bit more pressure on the ball, try and force that turnover, and probably get a bit more enthusiasm out there. It's just a bit stale. Do you agree, TC?
Yeah, smudged. Don't disagree with that.
Here's the ball in. Danny Ireland punching it away. Cody Carroll. Now Waller. And now Waller just has a little shot. It was a very quick fight off that left boot. Just puts it wide. It'll be a goal kick for Danny Ireland. But just then, even that punch from Danny Ireland, the Hamilton players didn't chase out very fast at all.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about before, is it okay? Is it a structural issue out in the park? I'm going to say no. I think that all looks all in order. And I think what you're saying, Smudge, is that it's just pretty much just a little bit flat.
We saw Broadmeadow Magic yesterday going down to Valentine Phoenix 2-1. Rob Virgili said after the game that Broadmeadow just weren't up for it. And maybe that could be the case here for Hamilton this afternoon. Last week, they would have put a lot into that match last weekend, last Sunday. A lot of energy would have gone into that match.
I was just about to say, having the pleasure to watch Bar TV from afar last week, and thanks for the couple of sledges, the game, the intensity level, it just got stronger and stronger as the game went on, and in particular, the last 3 minutes of the game.
It was outstanding. Here's Spencer towards the back post. No one there for Olympic. And then Enser letting it run on to Peace Clark.
So you've got to pick yourself back up for that after the game like that last week, and knowing that you have to win. Mentally, you've got to get that right at training, and Michael Bolch is particularly good at doing that.
Here's Tom Waller.
See how it settles in.
Trying to plays it into Thurgate, who turns, and Kyle Hodges was there to nick it off him and find Bailey. Cooper. Back to Swan. Looks up the line for Goodchild. Doesn't quite get there because Powiak was there. But the Jets have just got this energy at the moment. But here's Cooper away towards the middle. And then Degadoy playing it back, and ends up putting it over for a corner kick. Unable to get his clearance inside the sideline.
Even with Olympic last week and the week before, when Olympic versus Edgeworth here, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk on the park. But at the moment, it's very quiet.
Well, after parking the car and walking through the Hamilton warm-up area, there was lots of giggle, chat. They were talking about going to Snow's Patisserie tomorrow, literally the whole side, not just one or two of them.
Here's Bertos towards Goodchild. Now sits back for Mooney after the header away from the Jets. Now Cody Lucas stabbing it. Sits up the Swan on the volley across the face. Oh, shanked clearance from Enza. And Kane Goodchild's got it, smiling like a Cheshire cat at the back post.
He didn't know all he had to do was get something on it, and I think that put him off.
Enza knew exactly what was happening there. He just knew he'd just curl it around the post for a corner.
Here's the corner kick from Leo Bertos. Live on Bar TV this afternoon. Round 16, Hamilton and the Jets. Here he is. Pierce Clark with the punch. And now Mooney. Just plays it straight into Cody Carroll. decides going back to Cody Lucas would be a better option, and then Swan with the header. That'll run straight to Pierce Clark. This match brought to you here on Bar TV by Top Better. Get in the game with Top Better, Bar TV's major broadcast partner of all the winter codes. So great to have Top Better on board this season. As here's a ball through for Tom Waller. Cameron Joyce again flying in towards the back post. Cody Lucas is there to put it over the sideline.
Yeah, as saying that these boys were buzzing out in the warm-up and not to throw in Snow's patisserie again, but they were all talking about that, whatever. And then heard Phil Coyner saying, all right, guys, mine's on the job. Let's get our heads about it. Because it's one thing to be buzzing through the warm-up, but it's another thing to bring it out in the park, would you say, Smudge? And so right now we're looking at a side that's going to have to readjust their thought, I think.
It's very interesting you say that, Chris, because I want to speak about that in a second. As that runs back towards Danny Island. You know, you look at that in the warm-up, and if they come out and they're up 3-0, you say, well, they're relaxed, you know, it's easy for them. If they're not winning, you say, well, maybe they're not focused. So which way do you look at it? It's amazing. It's just like thinking about old players. You've got an old team, they win every week, you say, oh, it's experience. All of a sudden, if they start losing, they're old and slow. So it's so interesting the way you perceive things like that.
It is, and it is a perception as well. And, you know, I guess it's the coach's job to really understand where they're at and motivate them at that level that they need to be. If they're a little bit down, bring them up.
As here's Mooney, he's gone crashing into the Jets bench, and he gets up, he's all right. Richardson, across to Degadoy now. The Jets playing it out from the back again. They've probably had the best chances. Probably had the best chance. Hamilton probably with more chances in the opening 18 and a half minutes this afternoon. Scores from the other grounds. You wouldn't believe it. Western have taken the lead at Maitland in the derby. We'll just check the goal scorer. Sorry, we've had an issue on that. Matt Thompson's apparently scored for Western, so
unless it's an own goal.
Unless it's an own goal, or whether he has scored for Maitland and they've accidentally put it down as Western. Unless Matt Thompson switched sides, we'll have to wait. The other scores between Adamstown and Lambton, it's 0-0, and Charlestown and Edgeworth there at 0-0 as well. As Cody Lucas at the back. Brian Mora sends Joyce through again. Kyle Hodges coming across to cut off the angle. Now towards the back post for Waller. Now he's got a good shot. Thurgate. Just dwelled on it a little bit long there, the Jets, and was well cleared by Hamilton. Back to Degadoy at the back. And now Matt Richardson. Do you think, Damien, they just held on to it a little bit long? Didn't have the
just
shot,
then.
the Jets?
Yeah, they should be taking the shot. Them front three, and Joyce, Brymora and Waller are really doing, putting a lot of pressure on the back four for Olympic. Even then, when they broke, Olympic's defence never really chased back too quickly. They sort of just waddled back. So, I don't know. If I was Bolch, I'd be sort of getting a bit angry on the sideline, trying to rev them up a little bit.
Here's Cody Carroll stabbing one over the top with his left. Kyle Hodges with the header away, and then Mooney. Cam Holtzheimer coming into the back of him, giving away the free kick. Spencer wants it quickly, but hasn't taken it from the right spot.
I would take the new Mirror of the Heights resident, Jacob Bailey, out of that. He did make some desperation. He was the one that put the tackle on, but you're right, pretty much other than that, I thought they were a little bit sluggish getting back.
Believe it or not, here's the one I thought was a little bit sluggish because he was sort of jogging back. I was watching him, and then the ball was actually played to him, so he was just in the right position. So, yeah. So I have to tend to disagree with you there, Chris.
No, that's good. We'll get a replay out later. Actually, I just saw him make a tackle. Bailey's been terrific over the last, this whole competition this year. I think he's been a real good worker for them, and he's been in every game, just works away, and the combination between him and Bertos has been something that's been great to watch because the combinations between them, how happy they're happy to play very close to each other and actually play each other in, and they get out of tight areas. And I think as a six role, that sort of 6 and 8, they combine really well for Olympic.
I sort of tuned out a bit then when you were talking, Chris, but and I think they complement each other really well. Did you say that?
No, you weren't listening.
Here's Tom Waller now in the corner. There's Ryan Enser. Back to Powiak. And they're going to bring it back again here, the Jets. Work things out from the back again. Here's Richardson. Cross to Degadoy again. juniors at Brookvale did Kaya Degadoy, one of the Sydney-based players that came from Sydney for the Jets. As here's Mooney over the top for Spencer. He gets in front of Richardson. Spencer, he comes to Pierce Clark, and he finishes it, Tommy Spencer.
What a goal, what a finish. Spencer was very strong on the edge of the box. He's just held off his play, turned him particularly well, waited, could have struck it, waited for the right moment and picked his spot and hammered it home.
He just got in front. He got in front of Matt Richardson there.
Yeah, but the difference about that is actually put pressure on the ball. It's the first time in this half they've actually put pressure on the back four.
We'll just catch the replay here. Here it is. Look at that. Just out-muscled Matt Richardson.
And also he just took his time. He waited till the keeper sort of half commit and then he slotted it home. It was a great finish by Spencer and also a good run over the top. But that was better pressure from Olympic.
And a lot of strikers too might just, hit it first time and just, make that angle where it wasn't quite there. The patience that he showed, even though it's like 1 second, was terrific.
Free kick given to Hamilton for the tackle on Bailey. Third goal of the year for Tommy Spencer. A little bit of push and shove there between Bailey and Brymora. Here's Mooney. Holzheimer putting pressure on him. Back to Swan. And now Powiak.
That was great pressure by the Jets then.
This is a big moment for the Jets. They really need the next one. If they concede again, you just feel it going along that same track as earlier in the season. Here's Joyce. Back to Holzheimer.
There's a bit more buzz about Olympic right now, Smudge, and you can see you're right, exactly right there. But if you do score another goal here, then you think the confidence thing's going to take over. It's just the way it is with young footballers, I guess. But Clayton Zane's got them obviously well drilled. They're pushing the ball around great. So this is a long, long way from over.
There's a clearance from Swan, downfield, and Holzheimer back to Pierce Clark. But even so, Hamilton, for 5 minutes before that goal, the only way they were getting upfield was the defenders hoofing the ball long and trying to get it over the Jets at the back. It was really long ball style there. So I'll be disappointed with that, Hamilton, not playing it along the ground.
Yeah, like TC said earlier, I think they were just a bit flat for that first 15 or so or 20 or so minutes, but they've definitely lifted. Enthusiasm's back, and they know what it's at stake with this result today. So, but the Jets are far from out of it. They're playing well. If anything, they've been the better side, I think, so far.
Bolchi said this morning that it's Edgeworth's competition to lose. I don't know if that's the way of taking a bit of pressure off yourself, but I mean, at the end of the day, Olympic can't lose or drop any points.
Here's the ball back from Holzheimer.
So this game, this game is extremely important for Olympic.
Here's Hodges running back. Brymora with the pressure, and the Jets with a throw. You just sense that they get one, the Jets, that confidence we talk about. Here's Holzheimer. Going to Thurgate, it goes down. I think he played for that a little bit, did Angus Thurgate, and now Richardson with the header to Cody Carroll. Burtos with a high foot, and he gives away the free kick. Burtos apologises.
Gives him a pat in the melon where his boot just was.
Looked like he's retrieving his stud.
5 goals this season for Leo Burtos. 3 of those have been from the penalty spot. An outstanding first year for Hamilton. Cody Carroll lines up off the left boot. And he's going to leave it. Angus Thurgate takes it towards the back post, and Danny Island again too strong there, and Danny Island's in a little bit of trouble here.
And again, Bart, we say this every week when we commentate, when we do the Olympic game, you need to keep the ball away from Danny Island. That's bread and butter for him.
We'll just
check
out.
Looks like he's a little bit injured here.
Yeah, Danny Island doesn't stay down very often. So we'll check if we can get this, because I don't know if he landed on a Jets player's boot here. I think he stood on... Here we go. He goes up.
He collects his knee.
Oh, it's that right boot.
Yeah,
Did that...
Well, I thought he got his knee. Actually, his knee was hyperextended slightly.
Yeah, I thought I saw his right knee hyperextended.
Yeah, it looks
too.
like one of the Jets players' knee sort of collected
clipped
with
it.
Yeah, clipped it and hyperextended. So
and that I'd have a feeling this is not going to be good for Danny Island. Now on the bench they've got Tom Pullen. He was the first grade goalkeeper for South Cardiff last year. Now, he's not going to be Danny Ireland, but he's still a very, very good keeper, is Tom Pullen. So you'd expect he would come on if Danny Ireland is not well. Do you think, Damien, that he'll come off, or do you think he'll try and see for 5 or so minutes just how it is?
Yeah, I think while it's warm, he'll stay on. He'll try and keep it moving. He might have just jarred it, but he did, from the replay, it looked like he slightly hyperextended it. So
I was actually having a look at the landing, so I was watching his foot, and to me it looked like he rolled his right ankle. And so I didn't catch, his knee, so maybe that was in there as well. But I think his ankle was in play for it, because it didn't look good on the replay.
Yeah, it was not good at all there for Danny Ireland. Looks like he's going to stay out there. He's not going to take the goal kick.
That's the magic water. That always does the trick.
We'll leave it for Cody Lucas. Goes up towards Kane Goodchild with the flick on. And now runs wide for Tom Waller. But he's still not going to be 100% Danny Ireland, so coming out of that box and clearing it away. We'll keep an eye on him. Here's Cam Holtzheimer. He's had a straight to Reece Cooper. Sits it up for Mooney, who turns around and turns away from Carroll. Just too strong there, Simon Mooney, and now Mooney shoves over Holtzheimer and gives away the free kick. He's been very physical today, Simon Mooney.
Yeah, just back on Danny Ireland. Danny Ireland 80%. I'd like him as my goalkeeper. So looks like he's still in a bit of pain there, but he's prepared to continue.
We'll wait and see how the Jets go if they can get a chance. A shot on goal is here is Enser. Gets away from Bailey. Still Ryan Enser towards the middle looking for Primora. Well intercepted at the back, and now Cody Lucas with the clearance up the ground. Adamstown leading Lambton 1-0. Weston 1-0 up against Maitland, and 1-0 here to Hamilton Olympic. The goal from Tommy Spencer. Here's Mooney. Under pressure from a couple of Jets. Holtzheimer. Powiak. Flicks it onto Brymora. Goes to Thurgate. Back to Brymora. Lovely interchange of passes from the Jets.
You talked about 80% smudge.
And now this straight to
He's limping.
Ireland. He's
very,
gone.
very
He's
heavily.
gone. Danny Ireland is gone. And he's walked off the back of the ground here. It was very much like the Cristiano Ronaldo in the Euros final. Stayed on for about 5 minutes or so and then realised it wasn't good. So Tom Pullen has gone on the ground.
Danny Ireland has been replaced by 21, Tommy Pullen.
Smudge has gone down to find out what it is. He's got his physio hat on.
Yeah, Damien's gone to have a chat to Mick Bulch, see what the story is. Last week, Damien was sent down to try and put James Virgili's shoulder back in, so...
It's interesting, my wife was working in emergency that afternoon, so straight from Damien up to see
your wife to see how
she
James
didn't
Virgili
actually,
was.
Yeah, she said she saw him there, but one of the other guys x-rayed him.
Here's Richardson. What's the story, Damien?
Just talking to Michael Bulch, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but 2C was right. He actually rolled his ankle when he landed. So, so he's no good, and Tommy Pullen's he's come on.
Yeah, Tommy Pullen, as I mentioned before, he was South Cardiff's first choice keeper last season.
But just on that, you'd rather roll your ankle than jar your knee, so...
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So, somewhat better news. Here's Simon Mooney. Still Mooney down this near side towards the back post. Good child, and Reece Cooper's there as well. Cooper just can't get his head on the end of that. There's good child. Back to Matt Swan. Steps away from Waller. Still Swan towards the near post and put over the byline by Ryan Enser.
Great combination between Mooney and Bertos there. They obviously got a good understanding of each other, and Mooney's put a great ball into the box. Great to see a bit of spring come back into the step of Olympic, Smudge, because they, as you said before, and you too, but they're looking a little bit flat, weren't they?
Yeah, I think the goal sort of just sparked them up a little bit, but just prior to that goal, like I said, they put more pressure on the ball, caused a turnover, got the goal. So, they need to win today if they want to have any chance of the premiership.
Bertos swinging one in towards the near post. Good child getting up. Good resolute defending from the Jets. Cleared up the ground straight towards Kyle Hodges, but Brimora's coming and putting the pressure on him. Swan. And now Richardson with the clearance away to Joyce. Flicks it through to Cody Lucas. I was going to also say Blake Jarrett, who was commentating with me last year. He's good friends with Tom Pullen because Blake played at South Cardiff. So if you're watching this afternoon, Blake, I know he's working at Narromine, I'm pretty sure. So if you're watching this afternoon, Blake, hope you're going to enjoy seeing Tom Pullen run around in the first grade for Hamilton Olympic for the first time this afternoon. So
Well, there wouldn't be too much to do at Narromong, would there?
I think there's a bit of rugby.
was it?
Narromine,
Okay.
yeah, a bit of rugby, bit of soccer. So
And a bit of Bar TV.
that's right, bit of RTV watching. Here is Kao Degadoy.
Now, National Rail Network runs right through Narromine. Absolutely.
I hope I've got that right. I'm pretty sure I have. So here is Powiak. Richardson. I'll probably get a text if I'm wrong. Here's Powiak and back to Holzheimer.
Oh.
And now Mooney again. He's been so physical, hasn't he, in this first half?
Damien and I have both known Simon for a long time. I've known Simon since he's been about 16, and he's always had that in him. He's always had a bit of fire in him, and he's obviously wound up for this one. His first game back in, he wants his spot. He wants to keep it. The semi-finals are coming up. You've got grand finals coming up. He wants to be a part of it.
They'll get back to Powiak, and one thing last year, Simon Mooney, he was outstanding last year. 9 goals in his 21 matches. He played every match. There's Mooney again, bumping away from Powiak. Back to Swan, who slices that one over onto the training pitch here at Darling Street.
You know, he is a big game player, Mooney, and he loves being the underdog. He loves being able to get at plays, run at players, making them make decisions. I was talking to him briefly before the game. He said his mum and dad, Tim and Lynn, are here. He knows exactly where they sit. Yeah, he loves to perform. He just loves being a part of it. So, you know, at this stage of the game, I can see no reason why, he can't go on and have a really good afternoon.
Here's Cody Carroll. He nutmegs Reece Cooper and now runs for Enza. And now Waller, just a little heavy, and it'll run over for a goal kick for Tom Pullen. But I'm interested to know, he was so dominant last year in the grand final. He was a little bit underdone, and he struggled in that grand final, which always you are if you're slightly underdone and you're carrying an injury. But what do you think's been the issue for him this year, not playing as many first grade games as he did last year?
Well, I mean, at the time where he didn't have his spot, I can't remember whether it was an injury or whatever, but once you lose your spot and you're in a team like Hamilton that aren't losing, as a coach, Bolchi just can't leave people out. If
you're consistently winning, his good child, turning it over.
Sorry, yeah, if you're winning, and what's Bolchi going to do? Sorry, you've had a great game, but I've got to put you back in because I've got to leave you out because Simon Mooney's coming in. Just shouldn't go like that.
Here's Swan stepping away.
And Bolchi has done, the admirable thing by honouring the players that have been performing for him. So, it doesn't matter who it is, he finds it hard to change a winning side. Do you agree with that, Smudge?
Cody Lucas. We saw a bomb he scored, goal of the season contender up at Western from about that position. So the Jets will have to be wary of him.
Yeah, I totally agree, TC. And the other thing is, Simon Mooney scored 5 goals this year, and he's coming third in the goal-scoring tally for Olympics. So,
good child.
There's competition for spots, and there's people who they're keeping their spots. They're playing well enough, like your Daniel Birds, Reece Coopers. So it just makes it more difficult for him to get a spot. So.
You know what? He's a highly talented footballer, but one of the things about him is his temperament. He's very secure in himself and comfortable in his own skin, and he just knows he's got to do what he's got to do, and then the rest will take care of itself. I.e., he'll get picked if that opportunity is given to him.
Cody Lucas now towards Swan, just keeps it in. Wins it from the clutches of Ryan Enza, and takes him on again. Matt Swan. Swan now into Spencer. Spencer back to Bertos. Has a little chip shot towards the back post, but Pierce Clark awake to that one.
Ben, just on Matt Swan. Matt Swan's been tremendous for Olympic in the last 3 games. I've been very impressed with Matt Swan. His defensive duties, but also his overlapping and getting crosses in. So I did see him skew a shot, I think, against Edgeworth, which he could have done better, but otherwise he's been very solid for Olympic in that right back position.
And he missed last year's grand final, Matt Swan, after he got a job in Western Australia. So that would have been a big loss for them in that grand final last season against Edgeworth. Both him and his brother Andrew are both electricians.
Just on the game, it's sort of flattened off a little bit at the moment. The last few minutes, I've noticed since the injury to Ireland, it's sort of the game sort of just the intensity's just dropped off just a tad. But which for Olympic they won't mind. They're ahead on the scoreboard. So
just while we've got a player down, having this conversation, there was a couple of texts going on with Bolch and myself last night, and we had a chat this morning. He confirmed he had a torn bicep. This is a shoulder problem we've been going on for a couple of weeks, Smudge. Yeah. Torn bicep tendon, he's written, and a torn rotator cuff. And then he sends a picture of a guy that looks like him doing one-handed push-ups with a weight in the other arm, and he's claiming that's him. Thoughts?
What's the guy? Oh, he's overweight and bald. Yeah. Well, I was talking to Michael Bolch last week, and we did report that he did hurt his shoulder vacuuming, and then we thought, no, we got that wrong, and then it was hanging his pajamas on the line. But for more reports, it was at yoga. He was doing the downward dog. A bit of weight went forward, and he couldn't maintain the weight in his arms, and he's pulled his bicep and rotator cuff. So hopefully it gets better soon.
Kyle Hodges, yeah, we wish him all the best. Hopefully that shoulder. Here's Bramora putting some pressure on Pullen. His clearance goes straight to Waller over there, and then Thurgate goes to ground. Swan across to Cooper.
Just to finish off on the sledge, I knew this photograph. I knew this photograph wasn't Bolchy because the one arm push up, his gut's not on the floor. This bloke.
I'm sure he's going to enjoy watching this back. Is Bolchy? Is Richardson over the top? Joyce. Now Mooney.
If you're sitting in your armchair watching this tonight, Michael, we love you.
Back to Burtos. Still there, Burtos. Back to Spencer, and now Mooney takes on Holtzheimer. Gets away from him and now finds Reece Cooper on the far side. Now into Spencer, and Degadoy's there to clear it away.
I'd like to see Reece Cooper go one-on-one in that position. He's got the left fullback to beating Corley. He's a chance there, so the opportunity. Try or even do a 1-2 with Goodchild. Get round him, so rather than play the ball.
Reece Cooper.
He's absolutely thumped that through to Mooney.
Bullet. Absolute bullet to Simon Mooney. Here's Burtos turning.
Pull that down.
And now Cody Lucas. Hodges now to Mooney. And now Cody Lucas at the back. Has played over in America as Cody Lucas. Santa Barbara City College he played for a few years ago.
Yeah, just on Cody Lucas, he's played right fullback, left fullback, and obviously centre back. He's done a tremendous job for Olympic this year. Very solid player, and I heard he scored a bomb against Western as well. So he's on the score sheet. So no nudie run for him at the end of the season.
Yeah, he played one of his best. I'd probably say his best performance of the season against Western up there. Set one up, scored one. Here's Degadoy now for the Jets at the back. So we tick towards half time. Just over 5 minutes left of regulation time in the first half. Just lacked a bit of energy the last 10-15 minutes this afternoon. Probably since Hamilton have scored. Danny Island went off the field, if you haven't heard. As Cameron Joyce just unable to hold off Swan there.
Gee, he was strong in those last two movements, Swan.
Here's Spencer in towards the middle. Well cleared by the Jets. Mooney in towards the middle again. Pierce Clark, that bounced up off the turf. Looked like there was a trampoline under the pitch here at Darling Street there. And Andrew Swan holding off Joyce again. Just that strength again.
Yeah, if they did score off that move and giving that one straight to Swan, that goal for those two big tackles. Or strength in movements that were there.
Here's Richardson. He's played that straight to Simon Mooney. No one around him there. And now Cooper at the back post.
Great ball from Mooney to Cooper.
Just runs away from the 18. Lucas lays it straight into Cameron Joyce, who loses it to Jacob Bailey. Now Swan. Burtos. Holtzheimer gets a boot in, but Burtos still there. Now back to Mooney. Little stab over the top towards Swan. Can he bring it down? Clears it into Holtzheimer. It ricochets back to Swan and over the sideline for a throw for Olympic. Round 16. It's first taking on 6 this afternoon. Hamilton Olympic up against the Jets Youth. And it's Hamilton with a 1-0 lead. It was Tommy Spencer midway through the first half with the Only goal so far. Jets have had some good chances as well. It hasn't all been one-way traffic as we see an offside against Olympic.
What I like what Bolch has done with this side is put Burdos in the centre of the park. Everyone can play through him. You know he's going to hold the ball. He can switch play nice and easy. I think it's a great decision by Bolch to play him in the centre of the park.
Yeah, and what I like about it too, and I know I've mentioned this quite a few times, but the combination with him and Bailey's working for him all the time. And you're right, Smudge. They're playing out through him. So they're a great combination.
Here's Bailey sends one through for Mooney, but it was too straight there. Didn't get enough angle on it towards Mooney, and over just harmlessly for a goal kick. But just the last 15 minutes just hasn't been great, has it?
No. But just on your comments, TC, I tuned out again. Did you say they complement each other in the middle of the park?
Sorry, what'd you say?
But I agree, they complement each other really well. Bales does all the hard yards. However, Burdos does all the rest.
Here's Brymora trying to get on the end of it. Little back heel from Spencer to Burtos. This time he finds Mooney with a lovely ball. Down the left, Cooper arriving at the back post. Also, Cooper and Goodchild there, and cleared away by Cody Carroll. But it's been all Olympic. While it hasn't been exciting in the last 15, it's been Olympic that have dominated proceedings. Adamstown and Lambton locked at 1-1. Lambton have scored. Still Western up 1-0 against Maitland. Wouldn't that be an upset and a half? And in the other match, it's 0-0. Edgeworth up against Charlestown. The FFA Cup winning side doing battle at Lyle Carr Oval this afternoon. We see the throw going the way of the Jets. And 1-0 here at Darling Street this afternoon. That one in favour of Hamilton Olympic with the goal through Tommy Spencer into the last 90 seconds now of regulation time in the first half.
Yeah, with a bit over a minute to go, the last thing the Jets youth team want now is to concede a goal, because that would crush their confidence.
Here's a ball over the top, Brymora. Pullen just dropping back, clearing it well. This is coming towards us. Almost into the dressing room, that one. From Tom Pullen, the clearance over the sideline. But they haven't tested him yet. Jets haven't tested Hamilton's backup keeper as yet. Danny Ireland going off the ground with an ankle injury. Fell awkwardly on his ankle.
You're right there, Ben. It's always tough for a goalkeeper to come on and replace a goalkeeper, so you really want to test him straight away.
He has
the
played.
Jets haven't tested him at all yet.
Yeah, he did play 22s this afternoon, conceded 2. So they went down 2-1 to the Jets. Burtos with the free kick just inside the sideline in front of us here. On the western side of Darling Street Oval, in the Matt Austin stand. Here's a little header over the top towards Bailey from Spencer. Pierce Clark comes out, takes that well. And goes to Thurgate. And Cody Lucas is there to intercept for Olympic. How happy do you think Clayton Zane will be with this Jets youth first half?
I think he'll be okay. He's certainly been very vocal on the sideline, and it's like having a 12th player out there almost. But as far as his team pushing the ball around, creating opportunities, they've done that.
Here's Waller in towards the middle. Hodges goes back out towards Waller. He let it run towards the sideline, and now Olympic. Well played over there by Reese Cooper, and then Burtos with the clearance. It's Powiak. Had some good chances the opening 20, but since then, really, they haven't. Yeah,
they have
threatened.
I'm sure he'll have plenty to say at half time as well, and it'll be all about the shape, keeping the football.
Here's Reese Cooper trying to turn inside Degadoy, and he's given away the handball. The referee, I think he was just waiting, maybe potentially for an advantage.
Yeah, and actually executing the things that they practice during the week, and that's what he'll be talking about, and making sure that they're executing that. They do that, they're in the game the whole way.
Yeah, I think Clayton's going to be pretty happy with his first 20 or so minutes. I thought they were the better side in the first 20, knocked the ball around well.
Burtos towards Spencer again. Well headed by Matt Richardson, winning the battle on that occasion with Spencer. He didn't win it earlier when Spencer put the goal in for Olympic. Here's Joyce. Didn't get quite enough on that, and Matt Swan was able to clear it towards Bailey. Good child, holds it up. Cooper, he's got no one in front of him, Reece Cooper, but he has to turn. Ball didn't have enough pace on it for him. And the referee calls a close to proceedings at half-time. It's Hamilton Olympic that'll go in with a 1-0 advantage. Just before we get the scores at the other grounds, we've got some drama at Maitland. Chris, what were your thoughts on that opening half?
Look, as Smudge just said, I think the first 20 minutes or so, the Jets did pretty well there. They created some good opportunities and they looked very threatening. Then it went through a little bit of a flat patch, and then second part of the second half, especially after Olympic had scored, definitely a shift in motivation for them, and they started to get right on top of things, and Jets didn't seem to get out of their half too often. So, look, Michael Bolch going pretty happy, and I think Clayton Zane will go in fairly enthusiastic. Smudge?
Yeah, agree. And like I said, just to the reverse what you just said, TT, it took Olympic about 20 minutes to actually get into the game, really start to put pressure on Olympic's defence, and they caused a turnover, and that allowed Tommy Spencer to get in behind and score a goal. But, I think Michael Bolch will be reasonably happy. I think Clayton Zane will be reasonably happy as well, but I think Bolch would probably just want a bit more enthusiasm out of his side, and just, a clean sheet for them will get them home.
And half-time in the other matches, Charlestown and Edgeworth, they're locked at 0-0. Hamilton, as we said here, with a 1-0 over the Jets youth. Maitland and Western. Western lay 1-0, but Western have had a player sent off, so we'll try and find out who that was. And the Jaffers and Adamstown at 1-1 at half-time at Adamstown Oval. So we'll take a quick break. We will be back in about 10 minutes' time. It's Hamilton Olympic 1 leading the Jets youth 0 at half-time. Hello and welcome back. The second half just about to get underway this afternoon. Round 16, Hamilton Olympic taking on the Jets Youth at Darling Street Oval. First place taking on 6th, Hamilton Olympic, with the 1-0 lead at the break. It was courtesy of Tommy Spencer midway through the first half. And Kane Goodchild and Tommy Spencer about to get us underway as Leo Bertos coming back onto the field. Just waiting for him. And just to correct the score at half-time, Maitland are actually leading 2-0, and Western have had a player sent off. It was Michael Holt. Charlestown leading Edgeworth 2-1. As Kane Goodchild plays it back in, and Powiak over the sideline. And 1-1 the score at Adamstown Oval. Damien, what did the coaches say at half-time?
Yeah, Chris Turner's just about to talk to Michael Bulge because he came out of the sheds quite late. But I spoke to Clayton Zane. He just wants the players to execute better in the front third. For example, if they get a chance on one-on-one, take them on, give it a go. But also they need to stand up a little bit more in midfield because obviously it's boys against men here, so they want them to be a bit more stronger on the ball and then win their battles in the middle of the park.
Well, he's Thurgate playing Waller and now Brymora. Well, how's he put that over, Damien? Unbelievable.
Yeah, it still was difficult. It was coming across, and he had to run for about 15 yards behind. Like we always say, he ghosted in on the back.
Here's the replay. I don't think he can quite believe he's put that over.
Yeah, I think the ball was bobbling, it looked like.
It definitely bobbled. There is something just in that area of the pitch we saw in the first half, just bounces up.
And he's come from the 18-yard box. No one followed him. No one tracked him, and he flew through there, and it sort of bobbled up. So, yeah, unlucky for the Jets, so...
Mick Bulch hasn't even returned from the sheds. That would have been a shock for him to walk out. Oh, he's back at 1-1. Oh, he has now, as here is Ensa going wide to Waller. Back in towards the middle again, Waller, and Cody Lucas clears that one over the sideline. Here's the ball towards the back post, and Andrew Swan with a header away. Mooney towards Goodchild. Richardson coming in behind Goodchild and cleaning him up. No whistle from the referee. Bailey. Jacob Bailey turning in the centre circle and wide. Lovely ball to Reece Cooper. Cooper to Mooney. Alzheimer again. And that little battle with Mooney, and he gives away the free kick. They play it on quickly, Olympic. Mooney towards Spencer through... almost through the legs of Powiak, and he clears it to safety over the sideline.
He just had some words with Michael Bulch and said that he told his players, look, they're 1-0 up. They need to stay composed. They need to keep the football. They thought they were a little bit slow in their transition in defence, so getting back in time, as you mentioned earlier in the first half, Smudge. And he said, just stay calm. You know, that they've got control of the game. And
here's a shot from Bertos, straight to Clark.
And, keep the football a little bit more than what they're doing as well. I was in there having a twinkle little star in the bathroom. I overheard Clacker. I wasn't listening, but I overheard him saying that they're definitely right in this. And, that there's full half football to go, and everything they've been working on, keep doing it. Again, I wasn't listening to you, Clacker, on purpose. It was just I was having a twinkle.
Here's Stegadoy shanking that one up in the air, and now Swan towards the middle of the ground. Cody Carroll with the header towards Bertos. Swan keeping it in and almost running down the changing rooms as he did so. That one straight to Pierce Clark. Here's Richardson trying to find Joyce, but didn't have the direction or the power on the pass, and it went now with Mooney. Should have had a good battle this afternoon, Simon Mooney and Cam Holtzheimer. Probably call it fairly even at the moment. Here's the ball over the top now for Brymora. Again, it's him against Cody Lucas, and Cody Lucas back to Pullen. And Pullen over the sideline.
Brymora, he works very hard. I don't mind him as a player. Got a great shot on him, but he also works hard in defence like he did then. He forced a mistake by pulling. And if anyone's interested, Cooma is 1, Canberra FC 1.
Cooma and Canberra, they'd be cold down there. That would be freezing.
Had some snow there a couple of weeks ago in Canberra, so yeah, they've had a couple of cold ones, that's for sure.
And just quickly, next weekend, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it'll be Maitland and Edgeworth. Damien and Daniel Herrero will be there to cover it for Bar TV. Chris Turner's not going to be there, and I'm not going to be there, so there you go. Here's the header from Degadoy. Tom Pullen with the save.
So what's the story there? I'm going solo.
I'm just working on the weekend, keeping Australia moving, Smudge. That's what happens.
Where are you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm at the snow. I'm at the snow
again?
next week. I'm at the snow again. Here's Bromora. And now Swan. Here's Cooper. Back towards the middle. Daniel's up at Maitland this afternoon. The big match, the big derby. Maitland and Western, though. Catch that one a bit later on Bar TV. It's here. The back is Holtzheimer.
I thought both you guys would have used up your annual leave by now.
Well, I thought I
All your
had.
entitlements.
We've both been to the Gold Coast. Been to the snow.
He's looking a bit shell-shocked. He's not happy.
Here's Swan. He's through on goal. He bumps away from Richardson. Swan, he comes to Clark, plays it across. And Degadoy.
He's got his hands on his head, realised he's made a bit of a blunder.
Here's Cody Carroll. A little bit more energy now in the match for a little period of time. Cooper now. A little bit more talk, isn't there, Damien?
Yeah, a lot better.
The intensity's just gone up a little. That one
Swan done tremendous down that left-hand side. If he just found the Olympic striker, that could have been game. Would have been 2-0 up. It would have been very hard for the Jets to come back from there. He done tremendous, but
What he did do is he had a good look. You know, and he's probably surprised himself it didn't go where, and the opportunity didn't open up. But, you know, he got past, did all the hard work and had the composure to have a look.
Here's the clearance down the field. Pierce Clark will grab that.
I agree with what you said, Bart. The intensity started to lift, the talk's starting to lift, so both teams know they're in for a game. I still can't believe I'm going to be by myself at Edgeworth next week.
Well, you're going to have Daniel with you. He'll be all right. Yeah. Maybe Cricket will come. He's been sitting there by his side and look after you. Western stalwart. How are Western going now? Western
2-0. 2-0 down against Maitland. So that score was wrong if you just joining us or you heard us say that Western were up 1-0. It's actually 2-0 to Maitland. And Western have had a man sent off, Michael Holt, just before half-time. Now, round 16, this match here on Bar TV, brought to you by Top Better. Get in the game with Top Better. Awesome to have them on board this season, the major broadcast partner of all Bar TV's winter codes. Here's Bailey getting bumped by Richardson, and the yellow card came straight out as Bailey clattered into Richardson with his left knee.
And look at this one on the replay.
Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
He went down like he was shot, Jacob Bailey.
No, he doesn't.
Was it a...
Oh, yeah. Looks like a cork. That'll be sore one putting the bins out tonight. Bales in Merriweather Heights in your new house. Steep driveway. Be able to shake that off tomorrow morning at Snow's Patisserie, Damien.
Yeah, he doesn't really go down that often, Bale, so he must be hurt.
I'm just interested here because I've seen the Hamilton Olympic trainers run out with the scarf. It's interesting.
Might use it as a tourniquet.
Yeah, just in case it...
Maybe wrap some ice in it.
Wrap some ice around the...
Yeah.
Around the knee or around the thigh.
But obviously, you know, fashion's not out of play here. I mean, if there's a physio, yeah, you've got it. Damien's got a new scarf on as well, looking a fraction feminine, but it certainly works okay with the physio. She's good with the scarf. Bart, you happy with that?
Yeah, I was just interested why the scarf was coming out. It must be a sort of a Hamilton Olympic thing with the scarf, because I haven't seen any other trainers bring the scarf out onto the ground as Jacob Bailey comes off
So
the
just on
field.
That's two subs now for Olympic. That's Danny Ireland and Bales off, so they've only got one more sub to go, so they want to hope they get no more injuries.
As Ben Coyner is going to come on the ground.
Yeah, so this role is not unfamiliar to Ben Coyner. He'll know exactly how he fits into this game and what he's got to do, Smudge. This is not good news for Olympic. Hopefully it's not too bad for Jacob because just talking to our mate Cricket before, and he was saying one's a removalist, the other's a pianist. Is that how it goes? One's a pianist and one's a removalist? piano player and piano removalist. And Jacob Bailey's...
No, it's not anything worse than a cork, is this? Because he did go down.
He went down very heavily, and the clash did not look good. Like he got absolutely... He's Damien with some news.
Yeah, Jacob thinks he's done his knee.
Yeah, well, that's what I was actually thinking. That I was thinking. Well, we were thinking it was sort of a knock knee, but then I thought, no, I think that could be ACL. Because I didn't want to say the word, but I thought.
Because he did hyperextend. If you have a look, he went in really a quick hyperextension.
And you don't come off the, if you've sort of got a cork, you can sort of limp your way off, but he was not in a good way.
If he's gone for the season, that's a massive loss for Olympic. He's been tremendous for them this year.
Here's Enzo. That's straight to Pullen. And what a destructive afternoon this has been for Olympic.
I tell you what, so you take him out of the team, you take Ireland out of the team, and there's some two big game players you're missing out on.
Here's Mooney flying through. And Enzo will run that down and clear it into Cooper and over the sideline. But players have got to step up now, don't they?
They do, and this is where your depth comes into play, doesn't it? They've got two players out suspended. We've got those two that come in, and Swan and Mooney. Now we've got Bailey and Ireland go out of the game, and all of a sudden you look across your bench, Smudge, and you've been in this situation where, okay, are we thin or are we not? Yeah. I'm not sure.
But it also comes to the balance of the side. Bales, like we said before, Bales and Burdos in the centre, they just balance each other really well. They complement each other. So he's going to be a big loss. He said it feels like his knee's gone, but obviously you need to have scans to confirm that. But sometimes you can jar your knee and it's not too bad. So, but from more reports, it doesn't look good. And he's not putting any weight through his left leg or right leg.
When you talk about the balance of the team, so you've got Coyne that comes in, and he'll know how to play that role. So yeah, he's a quality player in his own right. So to bring him out, it's fantastic. I'm not sure if he played the lower grade game though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Coyne's not really a defensive midfielder, like a deep midfielder. So even here, I've just looked at what Bolch has done. He's dropped Spencer back from the number 10 back into a 6 or an 8, and he's moved Coyne in behind. So CT, I have to disagree with you again there. So because Coyne's more of an attacking player, where Bales is more of a grafter in midfield.
Yeah, 21 goals, Ben Coyne, in his Hamilton Olympic career. He's been outstanding for them. None this season as yet. As Coyne clears it up the ground, and Goodchild's down now.
He's okay.
Goodchild gets back up. Walking wounded Hamilton today. If you have just joined us, Danny Ireland left the field in the first half. He rolled his ankle. And then just a moment ago, Jacob Bailey with suspected ACL. He's gone down the tunnel. There's now Reese, Cooper and Degadoy. A little bit of push and shove. The referee saying, I'm watching you. As here's Thurgate. Cross to Joyce. All of a sudden, the tempo has gone up in this game after a couple of injuries. And now the Jets, Tyson Jackson, he's just gone on the ground now for Cam Holtzheimer.
Yeah, you're right, Smudge. It wasn't a straight swap over, and maybe, like the change-up and putting him, Coyne into a more attacking position is going to work out just fine because, they really desperately want another goal right now because the game's just shifted up a gear.
Here's Degadoy, low and hard to Joyce. He's got Thurgate and also got Jackson coming down. Tyson Jackson towards the middle. Almost sits up for Joyce, but Spencer was there to play it up to Goodchild, but Goodchild's touch let him down. Cody Carroll. The Jets Youth League Player of the Year last season, Cody Carroll, plays it into Tom Waller. Tried to step away from Swan.
Yeah, but what Bales does well, he closes down. He's a great defender in that deep midfield role.
And they've really
more of a creative player.
Yeah, they've really missed Jacob Bailey when he hasn't played this year.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bart.
And Mick Bolch has said that as well. How much they have missed Bailey when he hasn't been there. Here's Thurgate, just offside.
Even I know you want the mic back, TC, but even the shift in play now, like they seem to have a bit more space in midfield. The Jets are starting to knock the ball around, so it'll be interesting to see how Spence adapts next to Leo Burdos.
We've got the free kick. Going the way of Olympic now. I've just got a message from Gary Fisher. That app is playing up big time. Edgier up 2-1 at halftime. So I'll get my info on the other grounds off Gary Fisher. I won't spread false scores around. But that score was 1-1 Adamstown and Lambton. That was correct. 2-0 is the correct scoreline. Maitland and Weston. And it's 2-1 Edgeworth leading Charlestown at halftime. Here's Hodges. Spencer. Spencer taking on camera Joyce. And Joyce wins and puts over the side. And I'm just getting the feeling, I'll say it to both of you, I'm just getting that feeling. I was trying to put my finger up before why that intensity's gone up. There's a bit of frustration directed towards the ref at the moment. Just some decisions and that sort of thing. This is Swan. This is Kyle Hodges. A couple of very, very soft free kicks given away. Sometimes you see that happen in matches. A couple of soft free kicks and there's a bit of extra frustration and energy in the game. Is this Brian Mora putting some pressure on Hodges? Now Pawiak. Now Jackson. Richardson. And his pass is to Enzer and it bounced up off the turf. Now Cooper. Burtos, lovely pass. And now finds Goodchild. Richardson coming across. Goodchild holds it up across the face. Finds. What a save from Pierce Clark. And Ben Coyner can't open his account for 2016.
Goodchild.
That was impressive.
Cut the ball back from Ben Coyner. And that was a great save by Pierce Clark.
He's been impressive this year since he's
great run by
come to
Ben
the Jets.
Coyner.
Gee, that's a good save.
That's what he does well, Ben Coyner. Those late runs into the box, but that was a great save.
But just Pierce Clark, he's been outstanding for the Jets today. He couldn't do much about the goal and the last few weeks that I've seen him play. This ball back to Spencer. Carroll with the pressure, and now Spencer with a deflected shot. Had plenty of power on it, and it's over for another corner for Olympic.
Yeah, I bet you he'd love to have that strike on goal again because I guarantee he wouldn't put it in the same spot. Maybe a hard low down near the keeper's side somewhere. That's just what happens in games, isn't it? You just get that one moment in the time to make that decision, and
Burtos towards Cooper at the near post.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Another corner. Cooper flicking it with his right boot, clipping a Jets defender. Maitland up 3-0 against Western. Score we're getting through. Liam Thornton with the goal. Here's Goodchild getting up. Sits up for Swan and his volley. Way over.
Good to see Liam Thornton on the score sheet. And I'm going to go with a header, Smudge.
Just on that, Andrew Swan probably forgot where he was. That was a great defensive clearance. Unfortunately, he was going for the attacking goal.
Liam Thornton very, very good in the air. He scored a few goals in his time with his noggin. And Bailey's just coming out of the shed with heavy limp. He's going sit outside, so he's not being rushed off to hospital. Smudge, what does that mean to you?
We can't do too much at the moment. Normally with any type of knee, you let it settle for a few days before you have a scan anyway. So
here's Thurgate now with a shot well blocked by Burtos. It wasn't going to be far off, and now Mooney. The ball through for Goodchild. Richardson. He plays it straight to Goodchild, who can't control, and it's over now for a Jets throw. Tyson Jackson takes it quickly.
My concern at this stage is just not putting weight through that leg, so obviously there's something more than just a bruise wrong. So that was good pressure by Goodchild on the keeper.
So would that indicate to you that a knee is highly likely?
Yeah, I think so. You need to have another look at and talk to him. You might have heard a pop. If you heard a pop, more than likely a knee. But you need to have a look at the replay again to see how he fell. But yeah, if you're not putting weight through the leg and it feels he's feeling his knee, I'd say more than likely it's going to be his knee.
Waller gives it away to Swan, and then Swan almost cleaning up a few of the patrons here at Darling Street this afternoon. Back to Swan again, up to Cooper. And now Cody Carroll getting a touch. Deflecting off him now, this time away to Pawiak. To Tyson Jackson. 17 years of age is Tyson Jackson. Playing against some very experienced players out there, coming on just a few moments ago for Cam Holtzheimer. The throw towards Thurgate. Now Joyce. Back to Jackson. Another throw for the Jets. Here's Coyner now. Goes straight up the middle, but it's straight to Pawiak. Across to Waller. Controls and swings one towards the back post. Andrew Swan's there.
He's just taking the absolute safety option there. Wasn't quite sure how close his man was behind him. Gets it out first go and no issues.
was actually a great glancing header. It was well defended, really, because he was under pressure from Joyce coming from the back line, and the way he guided that out, that was an excellent header, well defensive header.
Yeah, you don't want to take a chance there, do you? Because all of a sudden someone's there, pops back in, and could be goal time. Corner.
Here's the ball towards the middle. Spencer again with the header away. His experience is going to be key for Hamilton. The back end of this match, you don't expect to see him come off this afternoon. Here's Joyce swinging one in. Bromora with the glancing header. Back to Waller on the volley towards the back post. Somehow it hasn't gone in from the Jets. And it's a corner kick. No, it's a goal kick. The sideline, the assistant referee and the referee disagreed, and they went with the goal kick.
See, and the other thing with Bailey missing, he's the one. He's in the engine room. He's the one who revs them up when they are a bit flat. Like there, they just never close down. He's the one in there saying, "God, boys, close the ball." So he's a big loss, and you can see the Jets are really starting to get on top now.
This is where I like Kyle Hodges. He's in a good position to make an adjustment to all of that. He's a leader. He can see everything from his position, and he can definitely motivate his players. So they'll be looking forward to him to help them out in that respect as motivation goes.
We haven't seen too many defeats here at Darling Street Oval for Hamilton Olympic. They've had some big wins here this season. Earlier in the season, we've mentioned 5-0 against the Jets. They've just lost 3 of their last 36 matches in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Only 1 home loss in that, and that was against Maitland last year. Here's Spencer with a turn. Well blocked at the back by the Jets. Jackson out to Thurgate, and now Waller into Swan. Now Reese Cooper down the line towards Matt Swan. And Matt Swan gets away from Degadoy, squares it across, and Spencer's now in trouble.
Body's
holding
down
his
everywhere
face.
there. Might be able to get a look at this one on the replay to see what happened.
And Tommy Spencer still not very well. And the trainer's going to have to come on again here. Here it is. Don't know whether he copped the hip in the face, in the nose maybe. I think it was a hip in the face of Tommy Spencer. He's up and all good at the moment.
Michael Bolch's shoulder might have been trembling at the thought of another substitution at this stage of the game. What do you think?
Here's Bertos. In towards the box. Well headed away by Enza. And now Swan. Under pressure from Cody Carroll. And a run over for an Olympic throw. Cooper. Back to Coiner. Now Bertos. Swan. Cooper into the centre circle now to his captain, Kyle Hodges. Spencer turns it away, turns it over to Simon Mooney. We've got an offside now against Olympic.
Yeah, interesting to see how Spencer goes in this more deeper role. Actually, it looks like they've swapped Coiner and Spencer, because I prefer Spencer playing as the number 10, but also prefer Coiner playing as the number 10. So it could have been something that Mick Bowles could have changed, just play with like a 6 or an 8 and 2 number 10s. So because both players sort of suit that role.
Just sent Bolchi a text. Can you change Coiner back because you made me sound like a goose?
Cody Lucas up the ground. This match bucking the trend for the Jets. When they play, there's an average of 5.2 goals a game. The league average is 4.4, so a little bit above that. Only 1 goal this afternoon. And the only match they haven't scored this season as Goodchild goes on a run. Little backheel to Mooney. Steps away, and Mooney with a shot towards the near post. He fired that, and Pierce Clark with the save. But just coming back to that, the only time the Jets youth have been held scoreless this season was against Hamilton Olympic. They got beat 5-0 that afternoon. They haven't scored this afternoon. They've failed to break down Olympic this season, the only side they haven't scored against.
The level of possession of both teams has been more in the last sort of 5-10 minutes than what it's been all game. So just that's a sign that the game is really settling into what a little bit more space. Players are just starting to fatigue a little bit and getting just that half a yard on the ball again. So they're keeping the ball more often. I think Olympic before had half a dozen, 8-9 passes, and then the Jets youth team just did the same again. So this is where opportunities can come into it, Smudge.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So Charlie Horsley's just come onto the ground, and Tom Waller off for the Jets. An attacking change there for them. Here's Reece Cooper. He's in on Goalkeeper. Dodges away from Tyson Jackson, and now Richardson, and then Powiak arrives to clean up the work at the back for the Jets. Down the line, he looks for Joyce, but Kyle Hodges, he read that one well.
It was a bit of a half-nothing nod on from Goody, wasn't it? Good child. It turned into something. It turned into a genuine opportunity.
Yeah, Reece Cooper read it quite well and got him behind. So just again on Kyle Hodges, he's been very solid again today. He's been an outstanding player this year for Olympic. He reads the play so well. He just intercepted the ball then. So
here's Degadoy. Cross to Jackson, who just keeps it inside the sideline. He was bumped into by Mooney, and now Jackson will have to get back. I'll run over for a Jets throw. Just over 70 minutes gone this afternoon at Darling Street. Hamilton Olympic at home to the Jets youth. Brought to you by Top Better, this one on Bar TV this afternoon. Those other scores, 1-1 at Adamstown. Adamstown and Lambton. It's 3-0 Maitland against Western. And 2-1 Edgeworth leading Charlestown. They're the latest scores we've got. Here's Ryan Enser taking on Cooper. And then Ben Coyner diving in and giving away the free kick.
We love Top Better. How'd you go on the punt yesterday, Smudge?
Didn't have a chance to go on the punt yesterday. I had 3 kids to look after, so wife was at a conference, so father of the year duties and looked after 3 kids. So no punt for me.
Outstanding work, Damien. Outstanding.
So the odds of that happening on a Saturday afternoon on Top Better is about 100 to 1. So if you pick that one, good luck to you.
Here's Matt Swan dodging away from a couple of Jets. He's got Kane Goodchild at the back post. Swan across the face. Goodchild. It's somehow set up for Cooper, and it's cleared away by the Jets. They've got away with that one. Just like Hamilton did a few minutes ago down their end.
I don't know if this is stating the obvious, but I think the Jets need that second goal to, just to feel a bit more safe.
We'll just catch the replay here of that chance
Safe
for
losing.
for Olympic. Here it was, Swan across the face. Then it sat up for Cooper. And then Tyson Jackson with the clearance. And here's the turn. Back heel for Andrew Swan. Across to Spencer with a shot. Pierce Clark again with a save.
It's actually Hamilton that are winning 1-0, Damien. And
Clark.
the Jets, but it's all right. Sorry, Bart.
Clark up the ground. Now with Carroll coming in the back of Cooper. And now Charlie Horsley getting in there. Powiak. Plenty of talk from the Jets bench. Here's Enza to Powiak.
Clayton Zane just absolutely barking it out just a minute ago. He knows that they're still in this. And you know what? If one of those opportunities don't go in and a draw or loss comes in for Hamilton, they'll be looking back at those 2 moments as big game-changing moments.
Here's Coyner with a touch into Powiak's head. Deflects to Carroll, and now Thurgate gets clipped by Hodges, who'll go into the book surely for that, and does.
Yeah, a bit of a 50-50 one there. Do you clip him and bring him down, and you're going to do it intentionally, Damien, or do you just take your chances with the numbers behind the ball?
No, I think he done the right thing, clipped him, because they had the momentum there, so it's probably a good professional foul by Hodges.
A yellow card for the best Tyler, apparently in Newcastle.
Yeah, best Tyler. The Tylers don't go up straight, but yeah, he's still the best Tyler in town with Matty Austin, and we are in the Matty Austin stand today.
I'll give him a plug. Matt Richardson on the ball.
Austin was saying a couple of weeks ago he's concerned it's starting to rust out. It was a bit like his body, I think he was referring to.
Here's Cody Carroll. Of course, plans afoot here at Hamilton of building a new grandstand here. Probably a couple of years off now. It's Cody Carroll. What a turn. Away from Kane Goodchild.
Brilliant
now
turn.
to Brian Mora. And Cody Lucas at the back. He stood up for them in the absence of Grant Brown in the centre of defence. And now Tom Pullen comes out. But they haven't tested him, have they? Since Ireland.
No.
Ireland got more of a test than Tom Pullen has in goals for Hamilton.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He hasn't really been put under any pressure at all.
Oh, the cross in the first 5 minutes in the second half was sort of where he hesitated coming for the ball. It put a little bit of pressure there, but yeah, they haven't overly, had any shots at him or anything like that.
Here's Tyson
This game's
Jackson.
starting to really open up.
Tyson Jackson towards Swan. Now Thurgate. It's been good today, Angus Thurgate. Now Across to Horsley, towards the back post. Swan deflects the header across to Simon Mooney. And he bumps into Tyson Jackson.
Another great header from Swan. Like to have good quality defensive header. Just watching off the ball, Leo Bertos, in general play over the last 5 minutes or so. And he's positioning himself particularly well. He knows he hasn't got his workhorse next to him, but his positional play has been really, really good. They're ready for attack, and then also that extra couple of meters to drop into the defensive pattern. So, he obviously recognises the importance of his role in this half without his worker behind him. He's got a couple of good guys in there now, of course, but he's obviously going to take the lead. So once you're week in, week out in the same role, you've got to take some control.
Here's Degadoy, Kane Goodchild. Over near the sideline.
There he goes.
Kane Goodchild, look at this strength from Goodchild. Coming into the 18, still Goodchild. He's got Ben Coyner with him. Reece Cooper in the middle. Holds it just in the corner of the penalty box. Mooney. Still with Simon Mooney, just holding it up for Hamilton, and then Tyson Jackson nicks it off him. Hodges now to Swan. Spencer and the number 35 towards the back post. Rising is Coyner, and Pierce Clark again.
And again, that's Coyner at his best. When he goes in, comes in late, and gets on the end of it. That's why he scored so many goals for Olympic over the years.
He's going to be wondering what he has to do to score this year, Ben Coyner.
Pierce Clark, by the way, I love that name, Pierce Clark. He's been tremendous today.
Now, his junior club was Dysart Devils. Now, please excuse my ignorance, but I was just wondering where Dysart was.
Not
You
sure.
guys
We might
know?
need to Google that.
I need to Google that, yes.
That name's nearly as good as Ben Bart Homer. Smudge.
Yeah.
Here's Bertos in towards Coyner again, who is mimicking the volley. And now Hodges, so the Jets are going to make another change. Just waiting at the moment for that to occur. The ball almost through for Spencer. Now Thurgate. Over the top looking for Brymora. And there he is. Matt Swan appeals for handball, and he's given it the referee, so good position for the Jets.
Back to Coyner for a minute. He's been in the game since he's come on. He's had a couple of good opportunities. What a sub to bring on. He's a good worker. He's strong. He's especially against young players, he's not going to get anywhere near muscle off the ball and putting himself about. And there's a couple of good opportunities that have occurred because he's putting himself in good positions, and he wants to know. He loves to score goals and he loves to get forward.
Now, just quickly, Dysart is a town in central Queensland. So central Queensland is where Pierce Clark is from.
This will be interesting. This will be the first keeper's test, I think, or the second test for Tommy Pullen today. He's a fair distance out, but
Here's the free kick into the wall. And deflecting over towards the byline. Here's a challenge. Yeah. Tommy Spencer.
That's just
for a yellow card.
Look, that's not a tackle you need to make there in this situation. He's just instantly put his team under pressure, and for me, he'll have a look at that later and be a bit disappointed in himself.
We'll just catch a look at the replay here. Spencer, here he is, diving in there on Cody Carroll.
Agree. And the other thing is, you accumulate another yellow card. I don't know how many yellow cards Spencer's got, but he must. This time of the year, you start to accumulate yellow cards, and this is where suspensions take their place.
Here's the free kick from Smith again. Plenty of Jets in the box. And now Mooney and Pawiak head-to-head now. Mooney bumps him away. And Mooney over the sideline. A Jets throw.
Clayton Zane there. Clark is talking his players through, the young players. He's talking them through what needs to happen. He's telling them, let him win it, let Mooney have it. So the reason for that is so the rest of the players can get in behind the ball, and then Mooney's made a mistake. But, it's like having an extra player out there almost when you've got that level of instruction coming out.
And also he's a former Socceroo, former A-League coach, a wealth of experience of coaching and playing, an extremely talented coach. So back on that, extremely talented coach. Like this Jets side is so well drilled. They know their jobs and their roles. So, and like you said, he's like an extra person out in there, the way he communicates to his players.
Just quickly, we had Ryan Smith come on for the Jets and Cameron Joyce coming off just a moment ago.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. I mean, every player in that team has specific areas that they work in combinations with each other, and that's the way that they practice.
Here's Mooney with the interception. Cody Carroll. Back to Burtos. Just getting in there with Horsley. Now Smith. The bright orange boots. Cross to Jackson. Over the top. Thurgate running through on that. Smith again. Under pressure from Swan. Clipped by Burtos. Leo Burtos with the tackle.
It's always obvious when there's a dive, whenever your chest is rising, it means you've virtually dove. So
Here's Hodges. Middle of the ground. Degadoy. Out to Carroll, who turns and goes back to Pawiak. Playing it through, looking for Brymora. There's Swan again with a great interception, but it's back for the Jets. Smith towards the middle. Brymora with the touch and can't finish for the Jets. Gee, they've had some chances this afternoon. Olympic have too, but gee, the Jets have had some.
They certainly have, and you get opportunities like that. And they're the frustrating things as a coach. You know, they go either in or out, and you're not sure until it slides past the post, and it's like the big, what have you got to do to get them in? They have had opportunities, and you know what? Maybe there's still something in here in terms of result here. We've still got a good 9 minutes of regular time, so plenty of game left in this one.
Hasn't been the most exciting match, but there's been some drama at stages. It'll be a match that Hamilton Olympic, while they lead 1-0, it's been disappointing for them in the injury department. Danny Ireland off with an ankle injury, and Jacob Bailey, suspected ACL injury for him, as Andrew Pawiak on halfway for the Jets to Carroll. Here's Degadoy. What an improvement from them. Down 1-0 here, 9 minutes to go, regardless of the result. They got beat 5-0 by Olympic last time. They haven't beaten them since 2012, the Jets. The first time they met, that was the last time they won.
yeah, and this has been a fairly even affair. Both sides creating chances. Probably Olympic the more clear-cut chances again this week, and probably should have had the extra one, but the Jets have played well.
6 of the last 8. Hamilton have won between the sides. Here's Jackson now to Smith, and it's gone out. Jets have only lost 3 of their last 10.
I think if I was Olympic with 7-8 minutes to go, you'd probably want this game over and done with, I think. It's just starting to open up.
And just that stat, 3 of their last 10, those 3 losses to the Jets have been against Magic, Edgeworth and Hamilton. So it's taken the top 3 sides to beat them in their last 10. It's Pierce Clark in goals. He's kept them in this match single-handedly this afternoon. Enza. Back to Degadoy. And now Clark in goals.
Better pressure by Olympic.
Clark goes up the ground, looking for Horsley. Almost won it from Coiner. Now Cooper, he turns it over to Degadoy. Now Swan. Degadoy dodges away from him. Hamilton fans thought it was a free kick.
But also Swan's out of position here. Oh, lucky for Swan the ball was too long because they had 2 on the back stick.
Swan with the throw. Pawiak well controlled by him. He goes up the line. Thurgate's after that, but Hodges will get there first. Up the ground to Degadoy. Some space out here on this near side for the Jets. It's a small ground at Darling Street, but they had some space for a moment, and Swan now to Cooper. Into getting back and making the tackle on Reece Cooper. That was a big moment. Cooper got away there. There was going to be some issues for the Jets at the back.
Yeah, like we were saying before, Smudge, with sort of 7 minutes to go, if you're an Olympic player, you probably want the game to be over. And maybe a big reason for that is because these young players, they're just not going to slow down. They'll be the same at the end in the 93rd minute as what they are in the first minute. They just don't stop. Whereas there's a couple of guys had big games out there. Burtos, obviously Goody works hard all the time. Hodges hasn't stopped. The Swans have been absolutely working. Mooney's been busy all day. Cooper. You go through the whole side.
Here's Cody Carroll. Across to the far side. Jackson. Jackson steps away from Mooney. Still Tyson Jackson. What a run this is from him. And that one straight to Pullen in goals. He just couldn't get it across.
I'll tell you what, if the Jets were a bit executed better in the front third, they could have had at least 1 or 2 goals today. And that's a prime example then by Tyson Jackson.
Here's Pullen. Ryan Smith. Back to Degadoy. Found Carroll with a pinpoint pass, but gee, that's Leo Bertos. Outstanding again from him. Here's Matt Swan. Taking on Ryan Enzer and winning the throw for Olympic. Down in the corner. Inside the final 5 minutes now. 85 minutes gone. Still that goal from Tommy Spencer in the first half. The difference between the two sides.
Just, having a quick chat just away there, Bart, regarding man of the match, player of the match. And, there's been some great players, and I had to, look up which one it was because I didn't know. I just had to look up his shirt number.
Here's Spencer. And cleared over by Cody Carroll over the sideline.
I think both Swans are good, but I just had to check on the number 12 shirt. It's actually Matthew Swan. I thought's been outstanding. I thought he's done really well. But, both Swans have. Leo Bertos been a standout in the game. We mentioned him before and the role that he's taken on since Bailey's come off.
Matt Swan's touch.
Yeah, agree. But also looking at the Jets squad, Brymora, their front four in Joyce, Carroll, Whaler and Brymora have been very solid. Richardson at the back. Degodo has been solid at the back.
The only disappointment for Matt Richardson will be that moment that Tommy Spencer out-muscled him to score the goal. That's probably the only blot on his copybook this afternoon.
And in the front and third gate, Powerwick and Carroll have been very solid in the middle of the park as well. So it's been, the Jets have played well today as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget their goalkeeper. Sounds like he should be in a movie, Pierce Clark. Yeah. He's kept them in.
Here's Mooney spraying that one over.
He's done very, very well. He's been really good. He's had an influence on the game, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been a standout. He's definitely been a standout. He's saved 2 certain goals.
There's Pierce Clark again. This one hanging in the air. Brymora. As well, Pawiako's Ben Coyner in there again. He's had some good chances in this half. And Pierce Clark with some awesome saves at the back. Here's Hodges. Pullen. Up the ground. I'm tempted, Chris, to give man of the match to the Jets goalkeeper, Pierce Clark. He's been a standout today.
He's been a standout too.
Here is Degadoy.
So is Matt Swan.
Here's Matt Swan. Here he is running up the line just as we mentioned him. Here's Matt Swan. He's going to go one-on-one with that man Clark. Here's Swan back to the inside. Good shot. There's Pierce Clark again. Pierce Clark saving the Jets at the back again. It was Swan up against Clark, and I think you'd have to call that dead level. Swan did really well. Good child, couldn't finish. And now Cooper. Cooper, what a run from Reese Cooper again from the number 10. Here is Swan, again trying to cut inside.
You know what?
His lungs must be burning at the moment, Matt Swan. He's been going up and down that line.
Kane Goodchild, here we going home tonight thinking, what was that?
That was the goal equal lead
With James Virgili, who, of course, is
almost like he's had too much time to think about it. Just put the thing into the back of the net and go home.
And Virgili may not play again for the rest of the regular season. So the golden boot, if Goodchild can get a few, could be his.
That's right. But the keeper did well again. Held his ground. Nice grab.
And the sun's
Good
out.
A little bit disappointed he didn't finish it, but
the sun's out
again.
For the first time this afternoon at Darling Street. Here's Tyson Jackson. Is that a back pass?
Well, they're calling for a back pass, but you know what? It didn't seem like a controlled movement, to be honest.
I'd agree with that. I didn't think it was quite a back pass. Here's Bertos. Mooney. Again to Bertos. What a run from Leo Bertos. Stands him up. Is this the moment for Olympic? Bertos towards Kane Goodchild. And Kaio Degadoy. Gee, outstanding.
Kane Goodchild expected that ball to hit him on the head. It was almost like he was surprised when it didn't. You know what? Great movement from Olympic late in the game against this team that's been full of running all afternoon. I think what are we now? We've just got about a minute left of regular time. Probably expect a couple more minutes, Smudge.
Yeah, there've been a few little injuries there, so I'd say at least 2 minutes, at least 2 to 3 of extra time.
Here's Bertos. towards the back post. Rymora and a few Jets getting up there, and Ryan Smith takes on Simon Mooney, and Simon Mooney pulls him down. That'll be a yellow for Mooney.
You know what? Simon's done that because he's glanced across and saw that his team weren't behind the ball. So Simon has seen his team went behind the ball, so he's done a bit of a Kyle Hodges a bit earlier, and right out. I'll get everyone in and cop a yellow card on the chin.
Here's the slice towards the sideline, towards Matt Swan. Well, it's going to be a big decision, man of the match. We got down to the grand final. Matt Swan and Piers Clark. So there's three of us. So it's going to be a tough decision. Here's Tommy Spencer. Back to Swan. Plays straight to Powiak. Is there a late one for the Jets? In the live matches, we haven't had too many late winners. Last week, we couldn't find one. Late leveller would be for the Jets. Richardson still bringing it out from the back, the Jets, with Degadoy. Saved them a minute ago. He's been strong at the back this afternoon. Horsley. Enza. Back to Powiak. Finding their passes now, the Jets. Across to Smith. Powiak. All the way back to Richardson. Hamilton just happy to sit back at the moment. And now Degadoy slices one high over the bar. Thought it was going to drop in, but
it's always a tricky one. Look, you know, Piers Clark's done a great job today. He's made some saves, has made a difference to this game. For me personally, I can't go past Swan. I think that he's that movement for me was typical of where his game's been at today. He's had a defensive mindset, but he's also wanting to get himself in the game whenever he can. And it's typical of him, but he's done it well today. Been very effective. Your thoughts, Damien?
I totally agree. Piers Clark has been outstanding. Me personally, I'd probably go Matt Swan or I'd go Leo Burdos. But Leo Burdos was solid, but we'll try to come up with a decision soon.
Here's Ryan Enza over the top towards Thurgate. Hodges strong at the back, as he's been all season. I've conceded just 11 this season. Hamilton. Jets have conceded 4 times as many, 45. Worst defence in the competition before the round, as we've got an offside against Goodchild.
Just a bit over 2 minutes of extra time gone now.
We'll bring those other scores to you. They're all pretty similar. Maitland 3-0, Edgeworth 2-1 and 1-1. Lambton and Adamstown. Here's Matt Swan getting involved. Getting dragged to ground. And Horsley gets a yellow card.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Matt Swan. He's been solid in attack and in defence. He's been, yeah.
He's a player that's ready to put his body on the line all of the time, and he's not in a dirty way. He's just strong. You know, he gets in there strong. He's had good headers.
Here's Bertos. Goes to Cooper. This would be a big 3 points for Olympic. Just the 1-0 result.
Look, you know what? Olympic just cannot switch off here. They have to stay until the whistle's gone.
It must be close.
It's been a backs to the wall job from Olympic.
This is it.
Danny Island off. Danny Island injured and Jacob Bailey injured, and still Hamilton Olympic find enough to hold on to get the job done. They take the 3 points this afternoon, and they'll stay top of the ladder even if Edgeworth win at Charlestown this afternoon. They'll stay 1 point ahead of them with still the match in hand. And we've just seen the score at Adamstown. Lambton have apparently got a late winner, 2-1 against Adamstown. 2-1 Edgeworth over Charleston at the moment, and Maitland with a 3-0 lead over a 10-man Western currently. But boys, the Jets, they huffed and puffed, but they just couldn't get the job done in the second half. They didn't have much in attack in that last 45. It was the opening 20, and they really struggled to get a chance on goal, didn't they?
Yeah, sure did. And you know what? I don't think anyone could fault that result from Olympic. They deserved to be 1-0 winners. Is it 3-0? Probably not. 2 maybe. But, you know, look, they deserve the win, and they're coming off. They look like they've had a game, and the Jets youth team have given them one. Overall, Matthew Swan, for me, was a standout. You're happy with man of the match, Matthew Swan? Damien?
Yeah, I think so. There were a few standouts on both sides there today, but to the Jets, full credit to the Jets today. They came to play, and the first 20 minutes they were rock solid, and in the first 10 minutes of the second half they were rock solid as well, and probably the better side. But it was a professional effort by Olympic, deserved the win. The score could have been 3-2, 4-2. Both sides had good chances. However, Olympic are happy to take the 3 points. Now it's back on Edgeworth on Wednesday night at Valentine.
Now, what are your thoughts on Olympic this afternoon? How much of an impact will those two injuries potentially have on them? If they can't play for the rest of the season, how much of an impact will that have? Jacob Bailey and Danny Ireland, they're two of their best players.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just go to Ireland first. You take him out of the side, and he's openly, called the best keeper in the league. So if that is the case, then, that's going to be a blow for them for sure. But, in their backup keeper, he's competent. He's been around it before. He knows what it's all about, and he'll step up. Bailey's another one. Look, I really liked what Bertos did today when Bailey came off. It was like he just took a different responsibility in terms of his positioning. I spoke about that before. Positioned himself in the park really well. And the impact for Bailey out of the team is a big one for me. It's a really big one because Bolch is going to have to go home and think about over the next couple of days how this is going to pan out, who's going to be where, and how he's going to construct his team next week, Smudge.
Yeah, it's all about getting the right balance. He did have the right balance with bringing Bailey out of the side. Who are you going to put next to Bertos there? So, but that's up to Michael Bolch to decide. But Denny Ireland, he's been the best keeper in the comp for the last few weeks, and we have Neil Owens coming past us right now, celebrity Neil Owens. So, I'll be interested to see what the outcome for Bales' knee is. But back on Denny Ireland, normally an ankle maybe, he might be right for next week. So, and you know what, for big games you can always strap an ankle up, especially being a goalkeeper.
Well, I'm very interested to see what does happen there over the course of the season. And a few big matches next weekend as well. As I said, the match of the round will most likely be Edgeworth and Maitland, but we'll confirm that during the week. That one out at Jack McLaughlin Oval. And midweek on Wednesday night, a few big matches as well coming, as we said, Edgeworth taking on Valentine. So I'll have to see. I'm just trying to remember where that match is. That will be at Jack McLaughlin Oval on Wednesday night, most likely. So I'll have to see if we can get there on Wednesday night for that big clash, because Valentine are playing well at the moment.
I think it might be Thursday night. I was talking to somebody. I think it might be Thursday night because the Jets play Victory on the Wednesday night in the FFA Cup. So,
okay. Yep.
But need to confirm.
Yep. We'll wait and see how that all goes. But full time here at Darling Street this afternoon. Thanks, Chris and Damien, once again. We'll catch you next weekend. It was Hamilton Olympic 1, Jets Youth 0.